I heard something recently that completely shifted the way that I plan to go into this new year. And honestly, it changed the way I look at my entire life. So let's talk about it. Welcome to episode 5 of the Growth Chronicles, and Happy New Year. Let's get into this. So every morning I wake up, I watch a YouTube video as I make breakfast, right? Cool. On my homepage, a podcast episode came up for the Healthy Host podcast. If you watch them or know them, let me know in the comments. I just found them because of this video. And one, they already changed my life, and two, love their vibe, so I'm definitely gonna keep watching. But I want to talk about something that they said. They were talking about the concept of settling and kind of like unpacking what that means to them, what that looks like to them. You should go watch it, it's great, it's amazing. But one of the things they said, I had to rewind like 3 times because I was like, nah, run that back. He said, he doesn't think there is a best version of him. The version of him that he is right now is just as good as previous versions of him. It's just as good as future versions of him will be. All of them are him, and each one was necessary. So the best version of him is the one he is right now because it is essential to who he needs to be. When I tell you that punched me in the face, it spit on my neck, it literally rocked me upside down because so much of my path and spiritual journey has been aiming towards becoming this highest version of myself, the best version of myself. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that person will embody, but like just aiming to be a better person and become a better version of myself is just like pretty much the root of what I aim towards, you feel me? Hearing him vocalize that each version of him is as good as the next because they are all him and because it is essential to who he needs to be grants such a profound level of validation for everyone that I've been up until this point. It relieves so much pressure from my shoulders for trying to be someone that I feel that I'm not yet. It relieves so much shame for the versions of myself that I've been in the past. Because at the end of the day, the person I was showing up as was who I needed to be for me in that moment. When I wasn't acting as my best self, when I wasn't showing up as best as I believed I could, when I wasn't being the kindest, or when I wasn't being the most supportive. Maybe for other people, I was catering to someone at that moment, and at that moment it was probably me. It was probably my younger self. It was probably a version of me that wasn't feeling safe, that wasn't feeling protected, and so I had to put up these certain shields, and it may have projected into the world as someone that I may not have been the most proud of, but at the end of the day, it was me. And the reason this feels so profound to me is because I feel like it takes away so much pressure to become this version of me that I haven't even met yet. So I'm aiming towards what? I'm not saying that in a way to discredit the work that I've done, and I'm not saying it in a way to diminish the work that I've done, because I do see and feel the value of it deeply, even as I'm saying this, and even as he's kind of rocked my world to what he said. And so hearing him say that takes off such a huge weight that I didn't even realize I was still carrying from past versions of myself. And at the same time, it grants me such freedom in how I want to move forward. Now it's making me question, is becoming the best version of myself really how I want to spend my life? And when I think about it, it's not really what I aim towards. When I'm doing things, when I'm aspiring to certain things, what I aim for really is freedom. It's to feel free in what I'm doing, to feel free within my body, within my spirit. My ultimate goal in life at the root is freedom. And I didn't realize that for a while, but once I did, I was still maneuvering in a way that my focus was becoming this best version of me. I don't think that that necessarily aligns with me just wanting to be free. And so hearing him say in this way kind of made me realize how I need to shift my path a bit and how I need to redirect my focus and figure out what it looks like for me to be free. The version of me that is the most free. Who is she? What does she look like? How does she think? How does she feel? Because that's what I want at the end of the day. I want to feel free in myself and free in this one life that I get to live. And hearing him give such grace and love and honor to every version of himself inspired me to do the same. And I'm so grateful that I heard him say that. His partner, what she said was, I'm not quoting her verbatim, but she said something along the lines of, the best version of you is a concept, it's an idea. It's also non-linear. The best version of her yesterday isn't going to show up the same way the best version of her today would, because they would need to be showing up differently based on what she needed of herself that day. Like, what? Who are y'all? Like, because oh my God, it literally, I just spoke and said that a big part of my growth journey and my spiritual journey was trying to become the best version of me. And she just said the best version of you, it's a concept, it's an idea. Who did I base this concept on? Who did I base this idea of the best version of me on? What does the best version of me look like? And why does it look like that? Who and what made me believe that acting this specific way would then be deemed as the best version of myself? And I don't necessarily have the answer to it, but it made me question it. And I don't think that I've questioned it before. Like, everyone always says, be kind, be generous, be forgiving, be loving. And like, all of these things are clearly great things, but does that necessarily make you the best version of yourself? Like, I don't really know. And I don't know if I think so. And also, it's all subjective. Like, the best version of me to me is going to look very different than the best version of me to someone else. So again, it's like releasing this expectation for something in someone that I don't even know yet, because I don't even know who I'm going to become in this life. So what the fuck does it mean to become the best version of me? Like, what is that? What is that? And hearing them say this further pushes me to the idea that I don't know if I want to or care to become the best version of me. I just want to become the most free. I want to be able to exist in my most authentic self without worrying or concerning myself of how it's perceived, received, or whether or not it's accepted or liked by anyone or anything outside of me. And I can say that freely and with confidence because I know my heart and I know who I am, and I know I'm not someone who's going to take this mentality and then become a vindictive, awful, abusive person. That's not me. So I can say confidently that I want to worry less about becoming the best version of me, which I feel like puts me in kind of a box. And I don't even know what that box is or looks like or feels like. I don't even know what that even means anymore. And I want to focus on existing in my wholeness and my fullness and letting that be enough. And accepting that that will look different on different days. And I'm so grateful to the both of them for making me realize that, because they made me realize that I need to let go of this ideal version of me and just allow me to exist as I am now. I realize I haven't used this mantra in a while. I used to say, I don't chase, I attract, I don't chase, I attract, I don't chase, I attract. And I'm sure a lot of us use that affirmation. And in the search of becoming your best self, you're literally chasing something, constantly chasing something outside of you, instead of just being with who you are in the moment and being grateful for who you are in the moment and acknowledging and accepting who you are in the moment and just loving who you are in the moment, because you don't know how long you'll be that version of you. I think and it's not a goal, it's just like, if you know me, not that I don't like to work hard. I'm not gonna say that. What I am gonna say is I have never aspired to work hard. Like, I just really haven't. Like, I've aspired to have a certain lifestyle. I've aspired to achieve certain things, but always with ease. I've never wanted to have to struggle to get something or get somewhere. I know that sometimes that comes with the journey, and I've never shied away from that. However, I've never looked forward to having to really struggle or chase after something. That never really sat right with me. And when I look back, I noticed that all the things that I tried to work really, really, really hard for and like I don't know, it sounds crazy, but all the things that I feel like I had to fight for, if I ended up getting it, I realized it's not what I really wanted, or it didn't come in the way that I wanted it to, or I didn't get. And the things that I kind of just allowed to come to me based on where I was at and just me setting the intention and then doing me and allowing whatever to happen, those things came to me with so much more ease, and it was so much more fulfilling. And I don't think that works for everyone. And honestly, if you know anything about human design, then it will probably make sense to you that I'm a projector. So it makes sense that that's how things would work for me. Like, I've always felt like I'm not meant to work myself down to the bone to achieve certain things. And some people are definitely meant for that, but that's just never been my ministry. Like, it's just not been what works for me. It just never has. And I've had people and friends around me who've gotten annoyed with me because they're like, you don't even try, things just come to you. It's not that I don't try. It's just when I lead with my genuine interests and with my genuine knowledge and lean into that, things just happen for me easier. And I think that shifting my perspective from becoming the best version of myself to becoming the freest version of myself allows me to get back into that space of just sitting, not just sitting, of just being who I am right now and setting my intention and learning the things I want to learn and doing the things I want to do without the expectation of how it's going to look. It's gonna come to me because that's always what happens. And when I look back, that's literally always what's happened. And so one of my affirmations for this new year is going to now be the best version of me is the one that I am right now, because it is essential to who I need to be. Fucking period. Oh my God, period. Not only does it allow that sense of freedom that I realized I've been searching for, and that's really what I crave from life. It allows me to ground in who I am and live more in the moment, yes, but it also allows me to trust in myself and trust in all that I've learned, in the tools that I've gathered along the way, like along my journey. And I'm all that I need to be right now in this moment. Period. With that, I've shifted the way I plan to go into this new year. What is that? So now I'm gonna share that with you. And also for the Healthy Host podcast, thank you. I love you. You have a new fan and subscriber. On our new path of just becoming a freer version of myself. Not the freest, just becoming a freer version of myself. I can feel that I'm not as free as I want to be and desire to be and crave to be. So I think a great way to push me into that space and to become more comfortable with that, being within that kind of like body, is to push myself out of my comfort zone. And so that's my intention for this year, to challenge myself and to lean more into the discomfort, because often the discomfort comes from worries and fears of how I'm being perceived and things outside of me, when I just want to focus on being me. And in doing so, I have to kind of block out and ignore the external reactions to that and focus on whether or not it feels good to me. And if it does, moving forward with that energy. A couple ways that I plan to do that is, one, I plan to be less diplomatic. My friend, she pointed out to me, and it's something that I've noticed before, but I didn't have the word for it. And she pointed out it is diplomatic. I will speak my truth, but I'll do so in a way that doesn't ruffle too many feathers. And I feel like that limits the potential for deeper, more authentic conversations and relationships with myself and with others. And so I want to work on becoming less diplomatic and just speaking my full honest truth. And I know I'm not doing it in a disrespectful manner. So however it's received, and I'll just be that. Another way I plan to push myself out of my comfort zone is embracing small talk. I personally hate small talk. I feel like it feels stupid and transactional and like a time filler, because we feel uncomfortable in this like quiet space. And I'd just rather just be like, let's just not. Really just because it makes me uncomfortable, and because I'm someone who I love really deep personal conversations, which is why I don't really have many surface level friends. My friendships usually are pretty deep, but there's nothing wrong with small talk. And small talk is how you get to those deeper relationships. And also small talk is how you kind of like gauge whether or not this person is someone that you even want to have a deeper relationship with. And in hindsight, probably just jumping into the deeper conversations maybe miss things that probably would have signaled to me that I probably wouldn't want to move forward in certain relationships or certain commitments or paths had I not just jumped into the deep end off rip. So I want to embrace more small talk, even if it makes me uncomfortable. If I feel like it's stupid, just embrace it, just do it, and just allow them to be that. A really big way I plan to, again, push myself out of my comfort zone and just become more acquainted with the freer version of me is by sharing more of my work before it feels perfect. Because what is perfect? You know what I mean? That doesn't exist. When it comes to me, at least, I do have perfectionist tendencies. I do have some controlling tendencies, and I like things to feel super polished. Also, Libra in my chart. I like things to feel very polished and like put together and complete before I share it, but often that leads to me hoarding a lot of my work and things that I create because it never feels quite good enough, and then it never comes out. So I've gotten pretty good at not doing that here as much, but I have done that with my writing. So this year I want to let people more into the process. I plan to be sharing more of that with you, and I'm definitely getting more into that into the next video I'll be posting, which will probably be up on Sunday if this gets up in time. If not, then it'll be up by the time that this is posted. But I want to share more of the process, because honestly, it's a journey that makes living worthwhile. If you're only focused on the end goal lasts for about a minute, and then you're focused on the next thing that you want to achieve. So I want to, again, live more in the moment and be more with who I am now and what I'm creating now, and just embrace that energy as I'm in it and have more love for it, more grace for it, and more honor for it. And a part of me doing that will be sharing that and allowing that part to be seen, because the journey also deserves the same attention and love and support as the destination or final product. So I plan to share more of my work before it feels perfect. And I guess I'll start now by saying that I do have a Substack, and I have been posting to Substack more of my writing. Again, I'll speak more about it in the next video, so you can follow me there. It's a bit more of my writing, and we're getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, so I'll leave it at that. So another way that I plan to do this is by getting comfortable with being seen. If I want to embody a free version of myself, then that version of me is really, really bright. She's comfortable with being loud when she wants to be loud. She's comfortable with being quiet and soft when she wants to be quiet and soft, and she's not really concerned with how people receive or perceive that. So I want to become more comfortable just being seen, and whatever version of me wants to be at the forefront in that moment, and just be completely comfortable with that. And so I've noticed I don't do it as much anymore, but there are times when I can definitely shrink myself or like avoid kind of being the center of attention. But why? You know what I mean? Like I'm extremely extroverted and I'm also not extremely introverted. So I think just allowing myself to just be, and whether or not that gains attention or not has nothing to do with me. It's just what happens in reaction to me just being who I am. And so I want to just become more comfortable in that space. And so I want to challenge myself to take up space naturally. I'm not gonna force myself to do things that don't feel like me. But in moments when I want to speak up and say something, if I'm feeling the urge to be a little more vibrant in a moment or be a little more forward in the moment, do it. You know what I mean? And just allow me to be in that moment however I want to be. And it's okay if people are watching me as that happens because I exist in the world along with billions of other humans, and it's okay if people see me being me. So I just want to let myself shine, step into opportunities as they come to me, don't shy away from them, and stop downplaying my presence, because when I'm not doing that, my light is so insanely bright and warm and loving, and those who are allowed to bask in it are always grateful for that. So that's what we're doing. So I can probably come up with a million other ways that I can embrace just this freer version of me and become more comfortable with that. I can probably list a bunch, but then that would be, again, goalposts on it when that's not the point. So I'm gonna stop there and reiterate again that the best version of me is the me that I am right now, and sit in that, be in that, breathe in that, and just be grateful for who I am now. And that's really it. So I'm excited for this new year because who knows what it will bring at this point. I've never really operated in this space before, so the world's my oyster and I'm just going with it. So thank you for being here and watching this episode of the Growth Chronicles. I love you guys down, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.